So what does God's voice sound like? We want to be able to hear the voice of God with more clarity. The following are some ways to discern God's voice from our own voice or that of the enemy. The four parts to this that I'm going to list here are taken from one of Dallas Willard's books, and I just want to give him credit for that. The first piece is with tone. A nasty, condemning, or guilt-producing tone is usually that of the enemy. God's voice isn't going to be nasty, it's not going to be condemning or guilt-producing, although there might be conviction at times. But oftentimes, God's voice is going to come with kindness, with love, and it can even come with a strength. But as we get feedback, we can start to discern the difference in the tone of God's voice from that voice in our head, so our subconscious, or whatever we want to call it. We can also talk about the content. The content is what is actually being said. And the reality is this: if it goes against Scripture, then it's not God. We can be sure it's not from God if it's going against the Bible. That's just plain and simple. But we look at the content, what is actually being said, and again, as we get feedback in this, we can start to discern what is from God and what's not from God, and we can get more clarity in this. The next part is quality. This is like how you know your friend's voice or your mom's voice. One of my best examples of this is when I was in boot camp. Some other drill instructors, not our own, would come, especially in the beginning, and they would mess with us. They would say, column right, or to the left march, or whatever, and half of us would do it, or 3/4 of us would do it, and the drill instructors would get mad, or they'd feign that they were really mad because we're listening to someone else's voice. Over time, we learned to know the quality of our own drill instructor's voice, and it's the same thing with God. You know your mom's voice, you know your sister's voice, you know your spouse's voice. It's the same thing with God. What is the quality? What does God's voice actually sound like? The last part is weight. God's voice carries an element of command in it. When my wife was walking into the library on April 20th of 1999, right before the Columbine shooting, she heard a voice that said, "Tammy, go to lunch." Everything inside of her knew that she was supposed to go do her assignment in the library for a project due after the lunch period. But because of the weight of it, because of the commanding voice in that moment, she left and she missed the Columbine shooters by about 30 seconds. There's just a weight and an element of command that comes with God's voice.